Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to implement a Bootstrap Navbar with a WordPress theme using WP Bootstrap Nav Walker. Alright, so this is a really popular script that will integrate your Navbar so that you can create sub-items and things like that. So you want to go to this GitHub page, and we're going to just go ahead and download the zip. Okay, and if you open that up, you'll have a folder, and that'll have the PHP file inside of it. Okay, so what we want to do is let's open up our project folder. Okay, and we're just going to bring that PHP file into our folder. Okay, close that up. And now we want to open up the functions PHP file, and we want to include that file. So let's go to the top here, and let's do require once, and we're going to put in WP underscore bootstrap underscore navwalker.php. Okay, so that'll bring it in, and then make sure that's saved. And if we go to the GitHub page and look, you can see that we just did this step. Now the usage, we want to use this WP Nav Menu function inside of our Navbar. Alright, so let's grab this whole thing and copy it, and then go into our header file where our Navbar is, and go down into this div where we have the collapse class, okay, right above the form, and we're going to paste this in. Alright, so this basically defines a bunch of options for us. We don't need all of this stuff. I'm going to get rid of this menu item here. Okay, we want the theme location, which is going to be primary. Depth is 2, that's good. Let's see, container, we're going to set container to false. Get rid of the quotes, and we don't need a container class or a container ID. Get rid of that. Menu class, that's good. Fallback, that's fine, and that's good. Okay, so let's keep it just like that and save it. Now we need to go back to our functions PHP, and we want to register our nav menus. So inside of this theme setup, we're going to say register nav menus, and that's going to take in an array. Okay, so this is going to be called primary, and we're going to set that to double underscore parentheses, and then the readable name, which will just be primary menu. Okay, so we'll save that. Let's go back to the GitHub page. So we did this, that's fine. Alright, so make sure everything's saved, and then we're going to go back into the back end and go down to appearance, and you should have this menus option. Okay, we're going to click that. You know what, let's create an extra page. So we'll say about publish. Let's create one more, and we'll call this our team. Okay, and then we're going to go back to the menus page, and take a look at this menu, and let's go ahead and say create menu, and then you want to make sure you check this right here, primary menu, and then save it. Alright, and then we'll go to our front end and reload, and now you can see we have our menu and it works. So let's test out the drop down functionality. All we should have to do is take one of these and put them right in here. We'll put the Our Team one in there as well, and then save menu, go back, and now we have a drop down. Alright, so awesome. So you can see how easy that was to implement a navbar, and this is definitely something that you could use in other projects as well. Any kind of Bootstrap WordPress theme. Alright, so now what I want to do is get the sidebar set up so that we can add sidebar widgets. So still in the functions.php file, we're going to go underneath the add action here, and let's create a function. And we're going to call this init_widgets. Okay, and that's going to take in an ID. Now in here we want to say register sidebar, and that's going to take in an array, and then we have a bunch of options. So let's say name, sidebar, ID, sidebar. Alright, now we can also include other things here. For instance, we can say before widget. Now what this does is it allows us to insert code right before the widget renders. So we're going to need this because we want our widgets to render inside Bootstrap panels. So we need to include the panel classes. So let's put a div, give it a class of panel, and also panel default. Alright, and then let's do after widget, and that's just going to be 2 ending divs. Alright, now we also have the ability to add content before and after the title, which we also want to do. So for this one, before title, and this is going to have a div with the class of panel heading. Okay, and then we also want the h3, and we're going to give that a class of panel title. Alright, and then finally we'll do after title. That's going to be the ending h3, ending div, and then we also want the start of the panel body. Okay, so that should be good. Now we need to have an action, so we're going to say add action. Alright, and the hook will be widgets underscore init. Alright, and then of course the function we want to call is init widgets. So we'll make sure that's saved. And if we go to the back end and reload, you should now have a widgets option under appearance, and you should also see sidebar. So what I'm going to do is bring over categories, And let's save, and let's see if those render. Alright, good. So now we have our categories. And you can see that now we have the panel around it as well. Alright, let's also bring over recent posts. Change that to 3. And also let's bring over recent comments. Alright, so let's take a look, and there they are. Now we have an issue because I want these to show up as list groups, which are formatted better than this. They take away the bullet, add some padding, add some borders. So what we'll need to do is kind of create our own version of these widgets inside of our theme folder. Okay, so what we'll do is inside the theme folder, we'll create another folder called widgets. And I'm actually going to go to my folder from within my file manager. Alright, and then what I'm going to want to do is if we go to WP admin, actually no, WP includes, and then widgets, you'll see all of the core widget files here. Alright, so we want to grab the categories, the recent comments, and the recent posts, and we're going to copy. Make sure you don't cut, make sure you copy them. And we're going to bring them over to our theme folder, and then widgets. Okay, we'll paste those in. And let's start with the categories one. So let's open that up through Sublime. Alright, and first thing we want to do is the class name. We need to change that. So what I'll do is put an underscore and then custom. Okay. And then what I want to change is the class names for the UL and the LIs. Okay, I just want to add the Bootstrap classes. So we want to go to right here where we have the UL, and we're going to add class list group. Now we also want the list items to have the class of list group item, but the way that this is set up, we can't access the list item tags from within here. So we need to do a little bit of customization in the functions PHP file. So let's open that up, and what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath, we're going to go to the very bottom, and we're going to create, actually let's add a comment here first. We'll say adds list group item to categories li, just so we know what it does. Okay, so function, we'll call it add new class list categories. Okay, and then we're going to pass in a variable. We'll say list is going to equal string replace. Okay, and we'll say cat item. Okay, that's the original class name. We want to change that. Now we still want it to have the cat item class because it needs that, but we also want to add on the list group item class. Alright. And then we just need to return list. Okay. So what we want to do, instead of adding an action here, we want to add filter. Okay, basically an action is used when you want to add something. A filter is when you want to change something. Alright, so we're going to say add filter WP underscore list categories, and then we just want the name of our function. Okay, So we're not out of the woods yet with these widgets. We have to register them. So before we do that, we need to include them up here, or require. So we're going to say require once. Okay, it's going to be the widgets folder that's in our theme folder. And then we need to include each one. So class WP widget, what do we got? Categories .php. Okay, we might as well include all of them. Okay, so we get the recent posts, and we have recent comments. Okay, now we need to register. So down at the bottom here, we'll say function Wordstrap register widgets. And what we want here is the class name. So WP underscore widget recent posts and custom. Okay, this one will be recent comments, and then we'll do our categories. Alright, now we need another add action, and this is going to be again on widgets init, and then we just need the name of the function. Alright, so let's save that and go and reload. Cannot declare class recent posts. Oh, did I not add that? Oh, I didn't change this. So these should have custom as well. Okay, so we have all of our widgets registered, and categories now has the list item class, so that looks good. We also want to add these classes to these two as well, so that instead of the bullet points, we have it looking like this. So let's go to our recent posts widget, and we want to go down. We want to find the UL tag that we need to change, which is right here. Okay, so we're just going to add a class of list group, and then the LI will have a class of list group item. Okay, let's reload. That looks good. Now let's go to the recent comments. And where is it? Right here. So we're going to add a class of list group, and then the LI will add a class of list group item. Save, reload, and there we go. So now we have some custom widgets. Okay, and obviously you can do whatever you like. You could make these look totally different if you wanted to, and it would only affect these widgets when your theme is loaded. Okay, so you're not editing any core WordPress code. That would be bad. Okay, you don't want to do that. So we have our navbar set up as well as our sidebar widgets. So we're almost there. In the next video, I want to work on the search. We'll put a search box, and also the single pages, because right now if we click on a post, it brings us to the right post, but we want it to look different than this. Okay, we want the image to be bigger and so forth. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.